Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about 3 easy ways to improve your videography without buying any new gear. We'll talk about framing, lighting, and camera movement to enhance your video content. I'm Bacon, and this channel is dedicated to helping creatives and videographers seize more opportunities in the filmmaking world by boosting your abilities and perspective. Starting with framing, I first want to make it clear that it's not just about the positioning of your frame, but it's also about the context of your frame. Some common mistakes that beginners make all the time is leaving too much headroom above their subject and also having their camera on awkward angles. For headroom, a general rule of thumb is to leave enough space above your subject as to not cut off their head. That way it makes the scene feel more focused on the subject and less like an amateur captured it. Adjacently, making sure that when you position your camera, the angles in your frame are straight and not on a weird angle can help your footage not be distracting as well. The goal is to make sure that what you see in camera is pretty close to what you see in real life. So that means keeping your verticals vertical and making sure that you use your rule of thirds to drive a natural looking frame. Which leads right into the next framing concept of creating natural frames. This involves placing your subject in an environment that enhances the story. For instance, filming this video in the office where I normally do all of my work naturally frames me my element, telling a part of the story without saying a single word. Lastly, in today's social media world, it's so important to make sure that your content can be repurposed for platforms like Instagram and TikTok. A simple way to do this is by centering your subject in the central frame of your rule of thirds layout. This way, when you're editing, it's easy to crop the video to fit the dimensions of those social platforms. Next, let's cover lighting. Lighting is a filmmaking element that helps shape the mood and clarity of your videos. In this video, my goal was to make the lighting as natural as possible, so I made sure to place myself next to a large window with the shutters open to let in as much natural light as possible. It's early afternoon at the time of this recording, so the high sun provides a soft, indirect light, which is perfect for this scenario. Alongside the window as my primary light source, I'm also using an Amaran 100X to fill in the shadows and also act as a secondary key in the case that the clouds begin to fluctuate the light from the sun. Something to consider when improving the way that you light a scene is positioning. This could be the position of the lights themselves, but it could also be the position of your subject. Referring back to the way that we decided to set up this scene, had I placed myself in front of a large window, I would have been backlit and it would have been hard to see my face. And then alternatively, had I placed myself somewhere in my home where there's no natural light, like the hallway, the video would have been unappealing to the viewer. Always consider what your main light source is going to be and adjust your setup to use them to your advantage. Getting on to our last and final topic, let's talk about introducing movement to your shots. While many beginning videographers are adept at adding movement, the key is to make sure that it's intentional and it enhances your story. For majority of this video, I've used a locked off tripod shot, which is stable and static and perfect for me presenting information to you directly. But let's say I was outside moving, walking and talking even. A static shot might not work as well for that, and it would almost be better to implement a tracking shot at that point so that the camera continues to move and be engaging with the subject. Over the summer, I filmed an ad for Essence Fest where I faced this exact challenge. I used just the tripod for stable shots, and I used handheld techniques to implement movement into the ad. I use handheld shots not just to add variety to the overall film, but to guide the viewer's eye to parts of the scene that I wanted them to focus on. This really helps with storytelling, making sure that your audience is focused on the right thing at the right time. So if you don't have a gimbal or slider for smooth tracking shots, don't worry because there are other practical ways to stabilize your handheld footage. One trick my peers and I often use is adding extra weight to the camera. You can do this by using a heavier lens or sometimes adding a case to your camera to reduce micro jitters. And alternatively, you could also use your body as another point of contact to help stabilize your footage as well. I usually take the LCD screen that's on my camera and either balance it on my hand or press it up against my chest to help stabilize the shot to make sure that my handheld footage is as smooth as possible as well. But with all that being said, the main takeaway is movement should enhance your footage, not distract from the main story. So if your shot doesn't require any movement, locking it off on a tripod could be just as impactful. Using these techniques can significantly enhance your videography, boosting your production value and making you more appealing to clients. Once you've got these basics down and you're ready to upgrade your gear, check out the video on the screen where I'll show you how to balance your camera on the gimbal. And if you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next video.